they can put their trust in God, and God will begin to do the work of redeeming them. If they can just say, you know what, I'm not hopeless. I can put my trust in God. I know I can live forever if I'll just put my trust in God. I know I'm not doomed to go to hell if I put my trust in God. He said, it's good news. He said, and I'm not ashamed of it. Others may not realize the trouble that their spiritual man is in. And therefore, they don't understand my level of dedication to Jesus Christ. But I'll never be ashamed. Look at what he's done for me. Why would you be ashamed just because everybody else don't believe God like you do? See, what's going on in my life is the power of God at work. And because you don't believe and you won't allow God to work in your life, you think I'm going to be ashamed of Jesus Christ and I'm going to try to live like you and walk like you and talk like you. No, I'm going to wear this difference boldly because it's God working in me. I'm not about to be ashamed of what the gospel is doing in my life. Far too many quote unquote saints spend all their time being ashamed of the gospel, being ashamed of what it's doing in their life. God comes into their heart, cleans them up, and then the one thing they want to do is start running back out in the world and looking like the world, talking like the world, walking like the world, being like the world, talking about you saved when you come in here, but when you leave out of here, then all of a sudden you're just like them. No, I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm not going to allow society to make me hide who I am. I'm a recipient of God working in me. I'm a recipient of this. I'm a believer. Yes, I'm a believer. So you really believe? Yes, I really believe it. I believe it with every fiber of my being. I believe every part of it. I mean, from Genesis to Revelation, I believe it all. You can't show me one scripture in the Bible where I say, well, you know what? I don't agree with that. I agree with it all. Every bit of it is good to me. I want it all. I can't get enough of it. It all belongs to me. I'm not ashamed of it. We're going to be ashamed of something when God has worked so much out of you. Know you didn't do it. You know you couldn't have made you the way that you are today. You know it's the power of God in your life, and then now you want to hide it under a bushel. Now you want to put a cover over it. No, he says, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. We need to stand up like Paul and say, we're not ashamed. No, it's the power of God unto salvation. And it's good news. It's good news for anybody who would hear it and believe it. But here is the issue. Thirdly, sometimes we don't realize it, but many of us, we recognize that we have an issue. But then we start to try to save ourselves, which never works. I mean, the world knows they're messed up. The world knows it. Sometimes we feel like when we're preaching a message, we're telling them something they don't know. You don't think a person who can choke a woman and squeeze the life out of her body and watch her die, you don't think that man knows something is wrong with him? He knows it. You don't think those thugs know something is wrong with them? You don't think the stuff that people are doing, they don't realize it? They realize it. They just feel hopeless. You know why they feel hopeless? They feel hopeless because they've recognized it for years and they've always tried to fix it themselves. They've always tried to fix their issues. They say, I know I'm messed up, but I'm going to fix this. But it never works. So this is why people tell me foolishness. Talk to some young men. It's always the young men. Go talk to these young men, and I'm like, hey, man, listen, I need you to come. Man, look here, bro. I got some things wrong with me right now, bro. What I'm going to try to do, though, is I'm going to get myself together so I can start coming to church. Run that by me again. What you talking about, Willis? So you're going to fix yourself so you can come to church. Oh, that's a novel idea. Stupid. How are you going to fix yourself? You've been trying for all your life. But yet we keep doing it. It's silly, but we do it. We want to fix ourselves. And then some of us get desperate. And so what we start doing is we start looking to the wrong people or the wrong thing to fix us. We try to fix ourselves so much. And we never can do it, but we see somebody else's life that appears to be. So we go to them to fix us. Or we feel so helpless, we like, well, this liquor gonna fix me, or this drug is gonna fix me, or this relationship is gonna fix me, or this money is gonna fix me, or this materialistic stuff is gonna fix me, and it never does, because it never can. I want you to see what the Bible says concerning this. Psalms 146, verse 3 through 6. He says, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man. Look at that son. That's a small s. That's not a big S. You're talking about humans. He said, don't put your trust in princes, the government. I know you got a stimulus. Oh, but if you put your trust in the government because they sent you $1,400, I can promise you they're going to take a lot more from you. They're going to make your life a lot worse. You got to pay for that. So he said, don't put your trust in princes. Don't put them in men. He says, in whom there is no help, in the affirmative. There is no help in men. There is no help in the government. He says, his breath goeth forth, and he returneth to his earth in the very day that his thoughts perish. He said, that man that you putting your trust in, one day he's going to take his last breath. And guess what he's going to do? We're going to stick him in the ground. He says, and from that point, his thoughts will go. That's who you want to trust in. You won't trust in somebody who's going to become dirt. And they don't even know when they're going to become dirt. They might think they're going to live to be 100. Die at 42. He said, that's who you put in your trust. Somebody who can't save them own selves. But you're going to trust them to save you. Oh, brilliant scholar. Oh, you're going to trust the government. Greediest people on the face of the earth. Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or any other kindatarian. That's who you're going to put your trust in. He said, don't do it. He said, it'll never work. He said, happy is he that hath the God of Jacob for his help, whose hope is in the Lord his God, which made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that therein is. He said, which keepeth truth forever. He said, now you want to know who you can put your trust in. Why would you put your trust in somebody that's going to become the earth when you can put your trust in the person that made the earth? Why are you going to put your trust into somebody who's feeble, who's going to die? He says, when there's somebody you can put your trust in that created everything, controls it all. I mean, and then on top of that, I want you to know he loves you. Psalm 118, verse 8 and 9. He said, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. Go ahead, put your confidence in this pastor. Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to? Put your confidence in me. Well, pastor told me he was going to do it. Well, I forgot. I'm sorry. Go ahead, put your confidence in me. Now, I'm going to try not to fail you, but I can't make any promises. The older I get, the more my memory. I used to have a great memory. I mean, I used to remember everything. My wife say still do, but not quite as much as I used to. I can tell. I'm trying to tell you, you put your trust in men who aren't in control of anything. He said it's best to put your trust in the Lord than to put confidence in men. He said it's best to trust in the Lord than to put your confidence in princes. You say, well, I ain't putting my confidence in no man. I don't trust no man. Well, let's see what Proverbs say, the wisest man that ever lived. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 in the New Living Translation. He said, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on who? You. He said, do not depend on your understanding. He said, seek his will. Speaking of God. In all that you do, not just in some of the things. The problem is you want to seek God when you're in real trouble. When he wants you to seek him in every little thing you do. I got to go to him about everything. Everything. Talk about it all the time. Every little thing. Lord, I'm thinking about doing this. Lord, I need to know. Lord, what do you think about this? Lord, should I eat that? Lord, should I do? He said, listen, don't trust in your heart. Don't trust in your own understanding. He said what you need to do is you need to come to God and place everything before him. Trust in that and that alone. He said, and guess what will happen if you do that? He said, if you seek his will in all that you do, he will show you which path to take. Can't be trusting in the stuff of this world. And then lastly, it is when we learn to put our trust in God and not in ourselves or others that we can truly live. Because when you're in a life of sin, you're not living. Before you come to God, you're not living. You're a dead man walking. You're already dead. You don't have to die. You are dead. And it's only when you come to God and you put your trust in him that then you truly begin to live.